Super Rugby round 7. Two good games to start off the Friday. Kind of important for different reasons. One is an all New Zealand conference affair. The next one is an all Aussie conference affair. So kind of derby matches, although how well you count the Sunwolves into a derby, kind of questionable. But yeah, we'll get started with the first one. Crusaders travelling to Wellington to play the Hurricanes. Two teams at the kind of the top of the log. In terms of the New Zealand conference, it's so far them kind of fighting it out for that top spot. Both have got the same record of 4 wins, 1 draw and 1 loss. Although that draw for the Crusaders was their cancelled game. And the loss for the Hurricanes, the only team they have lost to was the Crusaders. Not sure how much you can read into that one loss, because the Hurricanes for that one, well, they didn't throw the game, but they certainly didn't put their best effort in. They rested a few key players for that one. I know a few Hurricanes fans were pretty annoyed about that fact. They think, you know, you go down there to win, you don't go to Christchurch and play a less than full strength team. But it should be back to kind of regular service for this week. They've rotated their squad pretty cleverly to make sure at home they are putting their best foot forward. But likewise, the Crusaders have also given some guys a break last week, although they didn't get the result. But it just means that some of their bigger names come back for this game. So yeah, big pressure kind of on both teams to get a win. Probably more so the Hurricanes, having lost the reverse fixture and being at home. But I guess we'll see how it goes. Chase Tiatia still at fullback for the Canes. Jordie Barrett moves from his preferred 12 spot back onto the right wing. He makes way for Nani Laumape, who's been in pretty blockbusting form at 12. TJ Perenara is back at number 9, and he captains the side, so he's with Bodie again at 9 and 10. Ricky Riccatelli is in also at number 2, so Dane Coles is injured. I think he's got a calf strain. So yeah, it's I suppose not ideal timing for that, but Ricky Riccatelli has filled in for him plenty of times and will no doubt be pretty solid there. You know, back row is still Princeps, Savia, Fafita. Yeah, I suppose it's that battle up front, which is going to be an interesting battle for the Canes, because they're going to need to get at least parity and perhaps move forward. Hussein has moved to the bench. He's been in good form, but with the Laumape shuffling in, Barrett shuffles out, and then Hussein shuffles to the bench. For the Crusaders, I guess the number one big name on everybody's lips is Kieran Reid. The fact that he is back, number 8 for him. So Fetu Douglas moves to number 6. Sam Whitelock still captains from second row. He is back this week, partnered by Scott Barrett, who was out last week. As some guys mentioned in the comments, you kind of see the amount of work that he gets through when he's not there. So he'll be a big player to have back. Likewise, Richie Mwanga, you kind of got a bit of an idea about the gulf in class between him and some of his understudies for the Crusaders. So he's back at number 10. Very good news for the Crusaders. It's still the likes of George Bridge, Crotty, Goodhue, Enor, Havili in the back. So pretty solid look inside indeed. You've got guys like Will Jordan on the bench. But perhaps not as deep a bench as we might normally know for the Crusaders. But either way, I also think that they don't have Franks and they don't have Moody, so it's Ala Alatoa and Harry Allen. So perhaps there is a chance for the Hurricanes to challenge up front, because the Crusaders are still missing a few players. But yeah, definitely big pressure on both teams to see who is that number 1 player in the New Zealand Conference. Crusaders are favourites, but only by 2 points, so they're predicting it to be pretty close. In the next one, it is the Waratahs hosting the Sunwolves, and nobody's really on top of that Australian conference yet. Nobody's quite pulled away, but the Waratahs have a chance to really do that here. They need to keep the pressure on the Sunwolves. The Sunwolves have had a series of losses now after their 1 win, so it's not turned into a winning streak for them. With the Sunwolves being away from home, the Waratahs definitely need to target this. The Sunwolves just need to get a win at some point, because yeah, their form has dipped out a bit, and some of the other teams at the bottom are starting to pick up results. So if they don't want to be in last place again, they need to get a win, and broke my pen. Yeah, an away trip to Newcastle this time. So I think it's the only time they're playing at Newcastle. The Waratahs are all over the place this season because of Allianz being knocked down. So they're in the SCG, they're at Newcastle, they're various places. So it's not that much of a familiar home feeling for the Tars, given it's the only game they're going to play there. In terms of lineups, you still got Folau, fullback. He was in good form last week. Carmichael Hunt replaces Adam Ashley Cooper at 13. AAC hasn't been all that visible so far. I guess he is getting on, but yeah, the impact hasn't been perhaps what we thought it might have been. Maybe age is catching up with him. Curtis Rona is also back. Interestingly, they're starting Mac Mason at 10, so Bernard Foley has to kind of have a rest. They have talked about this kind of being future-proofing the Waratahs for seasons going forward, because Foley is going to need replacing, so they're giving Mac Mason some minutes. That's a good idea. Phipps is inside him, so there's some experience. Michael Wells, one of my favourites, is back. Hopefully he makes a whole bunch of tackles. Swinton is also into the side in the back row. Hannigan moves into the second row. So, yeah, it's a bit of shuffling around for the Tars, but they're still favourites. For the Sunwolves, Vosiako was in really good form last week. He's at number 8. Dan Pryor's at number 7. And Hendrik Tui's at number 6. So it's a pretty useful looking back row. Hatting and Hilu. Hilu will add some dynamism to the second row as well. So I guess with Holloway out, perhaps the shoe will be on the other foot this week for the Tars. We'll see. Parker's at 10. It's good news. Tadakawa's in at 12. So we'll see how he goes. Masarewa's moved to the wing from fullback, so Yamanaka's at fullback. Vanden Hever's been in good form, and he's on the right wing. The Tars are favoured for this one by 16 points, so fairly comfortable favourites at home. Like I said, home kind of in quotation marks. But yeah, how do you guys think these games will go? Do you think the Crusaders are good money for an away victory here or back in the Canes? Sunwolves, can they cause the Tars any problems? You guys let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.